Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has reversed the December deadline for the withdrawal of old Naira notes from circulation, which means that the old designs of 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira denominations will remain legal tender alongside the new ones until they gradually fade out of circulation. This was revealed in a statement signed by the Director of Corporate Communications, Mr. Issa Abdulmomin. The APS Bank said its latest decision is in line with international best practices and to forestall a repeat of earlier experiences. CBN added that it's also working with the relevant authorities to set aside this subsisting court ruling that instituted the December deadline. Ghana's headline inflation rate dropped to 35.2% in October 2023 from 38.1% recorded in September, while month-on-month basis inflation surged by 0.6%. According to Ghana's Statistics Office, the deceleration was driven by the softening in food prices. Food inflation moderated to 44.8% in October from 49.4% in September. On the other hand, non-food price growth was 27.7% in October against 29.3% in the previous month. The cocoa-producing country, which faces its worst economic crisis in a generation, is in talks with bilateral and commercial creditors to restructure its debts. And to global equities market, Asian stocks leaped while the dollar was nursing its heaviest losses in a year today as steady U.S. inflation figures boosted investor confidence that the Federal Reserve was done hiking interest rates and may start cutting early next year. MSCI's Broadex Index of Asia Pacific shares outside Japan was up 1.1% in early trade. Japan's Nikkei was up 1.8%. Overnight, the Nasdaq jumped by 2.4%. Bonds surged and the dollar slumped more than 1.6% on the euro. In foreign exchange trade, the dollar suffered its heaviest selling in 12 months, with the sharpest losses against risk-sensitive currencies such as the Australian dollar. The Aussie leaped by 2% overnight and was steady at 0.64 in Asia. The New Zealand dollar held on to a 2.2% gain. The euro broke above 1.08 and even the battered yen rallied to around 150.5 per dollar. UK inflation fell sharply in October to its lowest rate in 2 years, largely due to lower energy prices. Inflation, which measures the rate at which consumer prices rise, dropped to 4.6% in October compared to 6.7% in the previous month. Chief Economist Office for National Statistics, Mr. Grant Fixner, says inflation fell from its peak of 11.1% in October 2022. It's due to a fall in the energy price cap, which limits what suppliers can charge consumers per unit of energy, and Bank of England's decision to raise interest rates in a bid to cool demand in the economy and slow price rise. Japan, the world's third largest economy, contracted in the third quarter of the year, snapping 2 straight quarters of expansion on soft consumption and exports, also complicating the central bank's efforts to gradually phase out a massive monetary stimulus amid rising inflation. According to latest data, gross domestic product contracted by 2.1% in the third quarter compared to an expansion of 4.5% in the previous quarter. Also, consumption was flat in the month under review after sliding 0.9% in the previous quarter. This report reflects dull consumption and capital expenditure, dashing policymakers' hopes for a post-pandemic rebound in domestic activity to offset weaker external demand from China and elsewhere.